There's nothing quite as romantic as an act of betterment. An entirely genuine effort to change your circumstances, to alter a trajectory, to rewrite a script. At last, taking a step back and looking at these bad habits that you knowingly let yourself get into and repeat on a day-to-day basis and saying, enough is enough. It's time to switch this up and get that momentum back in my life. An attempt to make one's life better and all of the lives that life touches better. It's a divine act. I've initiated these periods of deep introspection a handful of times in my brief 25 years on this earth, and every single time I come back with a newfound mindset, worldview, perspective on the world around me, and everything seems to be better from that point forward. When you feel so locked in that a bubble seems to form around you and the world becomes silenced. Returning to the world after disappearing for months at a time, I have seen my dreams slowly materialize. I'd finally stop slamming the gas pedal down and just take a few months off, getting the perspective I needed, returning to my brand growing exceptionally quick, my writing, my ability to create, upgraded, ideas coming to me with ease, my social life, my travels, everything injected with this new sense of vitality. To change a life is a simple, beautiful process. You don't have to do 75 hard. You don't have to biohack every subtle intricacy of your day-to-day routine. You don't have to get on a carnivore diet. This is my very simple 90-day disappear from the world protocol. The 1-page rule. Commit to reading 1 page of a book per day. That's 1 page. Look back on your year, on the past 5 years, on your life as a whole. How much information are you missing out on because the barrier to entry was too high? Days go by dangerously quickly. It is so easy to never pick up a book, never learn anything because you've built this high barrier in between you and that objective. Reading a book in your mind means finding some time off your busy schedule and getting to a quiet space and sitting down and getting away from everyone. And it's this big charade that you have to go through. And sure enough, you end up not doing anything or reading a single sentence because that barrier was simply too high. It's too complicated. Your brain is turned off by the action now, and it simply will not repeat it. Hence, years go by and you miss out on any information. You don't feed anything into your subconscious to work with or help you navigate your day-to-day. All books are containers of information. They are all essentially saying the exact same thing, but each one is strung together in its own unique way to where you can actually digest certain information. You can go your whole life believing one thing. It just takes one sentence, one paragraph that was strung together a particular way by an author that just seems to get you for that lesson to finally get across and for you to take it in. That's what that means. Okay, I understand that now. And your life changes because you have this different filter of which you see it through. Books won't tangibly change your life. You're not going to read, and as you're sitting there reading a book, your life just changes and people decide to enter your life, and all these things happen as you're sitting there reading. No, there's no action being taken. Nothing's going to change at all outside of you, but internally you're going to see with cleaner goggles on. You're going to live life with an upgraded presence and be able to articulate your thoughts more clearly. When you lower the barrier to a laughable height to where a child could do this thing, it becomes too easy not to rinse and repeat. There are no more excuses. You can just knock this thing out day by day, cross it off, feel good about doing it, and let that build up momentum to other more challenging tasks. And the trick that you're playing on your brain here that it will fall for every single time is that you're never going to stop at 1 page. Books are very similar to algorithms that you see on social media. They are made to keep you interested, to keep you turning the page because it is a product that was sold to you. They want you to enjoy it and to find it difficult to put it down. So very often 1 page will turn to 5 to 10 to 15 to 20, whatever book you're reading. And this is something that I want to cover too, which is be mindful of where your head's at. Right? We live in seasons of life to where each 2 to 3 months we feel a certain way about the world, and there's certain things we're interested in and we want to learn about. Tap into that and research based upon those interests and find a book that you're stoked to read, that your brain lights up when it sees it. Like, yeah, I really want to tap into that and learn more on that topic. Like, I've been thinking about that constantly. It'd be really nice to really get more information on that. Make it easy, make it fun, lower the barrier. 2, construct your museum. I've alluded to this before, but curators now are almost, if not just as valuable as creators. A lot of content now is simply curation, bits and bobs of artwork reworked into a piece of content, edited in a digestible way, where millions of people are moved by something that they weren't moved by when they first viewed it. It had to be put through this different string of editing and put to a different sound and have these other works within it, and then someone can see that and say, oh, I actually do connect with that. Your taste, your internal mood board, the art that moves you, the words that resonate, your physical space, the interior design of your room, your house that you're in every single day is now just as important as the layout of your online space. This new world was sprung on us so quickly that we're very slowly now becoming aware of the importance of this. The symmetry of what we consume is indeed what we create. You are responsible for what you are surrounded by. What you are surrounded by is responsible for what you create. What you create develops the life that you lead. You are judged by what you allow into your world. What this looks like is a complete rehaul of your inputs. Simply look at what you consume on a daily basis. Social media, books, streaming, TV, entertainment. Take a real hard look at where your precious time on this earth is going. Are you using these things to numb yourself or to inspire yourself? Numbing is easy. It's addicting. It's an escape from an already agitating day-to-day. It's a brutal, endless cycle. There's no inspiration, so there's no creation, so there's agitation. And then there's numbing to escape from that agitation. And then there's more agitation because nothing is getting done, which means more numbing. Inspiration takes effort. It takes curation. Like when you were in that 3rd grade class with scissors and paper cutouts and Elmer's glue, and you were just so stoked to get this project together. Your life, the outputs, the things that you see around you innately change when you alter and respect your inputs. Social media, option 1, wipe it, delete it, all of it. You're gone, you're offline, you're off the grid. For a lot of us, that's a lot easier said than done. It's sad, but it's just the reality we're in. So option 2 is to gut it and remodel. 60-day rule. I want you to go through your following and unfollow every single person who you haven't genuinely spoken to in 60 days. Unfollow every celebrity, every brand, every influencer, any and everyone who doesn't follow you back. Respect your platform. You're not this invisible consumer who's just here to give these people who don't know you exist this engagement and look at their lives. Like, why would you care about what they're doing? You don't know them. You haven't spoken to them. Zero reason for you to see their stuff every day. If you want to be a high performer, a respected artist, act like it. When you begin again from this fresh place of clarity, you are free to create. If you get on any of these platforms, it is to either create or to selectively consume, taking artwork from others and throwing that in your save section, eventually mood boarding it to turn it into your own original creation. You don't get on your phone to numb anymore. You get on it to walk through this virtual museum for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you're back in the real world. You're back taking real action. Books. I kind of already alluded to this, but simply vet your library. Make it a fun exercise. Curate a selection of readings from authors that you heavily relate to. I like to tackle a book a month. Like I said before, each one I research before buying and ensure it applies to my current state of mind. Streaming, TV, film. In this 90-day period, and really from this point forward, I want you to follow the golden age rule, as I like to call it. What I mean by this is basically imagining you are an artist back in the mid-70s where you have nowhere near the access we have now to entertainment. Think about it. Like in 1975, you had to make a decision on if you wanted to walk or drive or train to a local cinema to where you could screen a film. You had to make a real thought-out decision before granting your time to a screen. Now, it takes a button click or a tap, and you have access to a never-ending library of entertainment. entertainment. 90% of the new streaming originals being straight mindless garbage built to just keep you dedicated to remaining on these platforms. Just as we did with your social media, it's a respect thing. Pull yourself out of this trance in front of screens 70% of the day, being influenced or entertained. How on earth are you meant to create, to reach your potential, to carry out your innate purpose on this earth when you are distracted and looped into this population of mindless consumers? Get in the control center, escape the simulation. Watch film that took a great deal of concerted effort to create, stories that took heart, pain, time to write. Make it a business decision of transactional inputs and outputs each time you commit time to a screen. If you're going to spend time consuming, whether it's on a phone or a laptop or TV, whatever, make it something that genuinely moves you. Hopefully now you're seeing how this all parallels. How when you only consume content that took no time at all to create and lacks any passion or creativity, you are the product of that. Film, social media, podcasts, music, books, magazines, it's all artwork, caveman etchings on the surface of a rock. You are what you consume. The ones that consciously curate this space of beauty and inspiration around them and can keep that around them 24/7 will always win. 3, movement. Physical movement every day. Movement is romantic. Movement is momentum. Momentum is progression. Progression invigorates, whether it's a brisk walk around the neighborhood, a pacey run on the trail, or a sprint workout on the track, hitting a tennis ball against a wall, whatever it is. Drop the headphones, listen to the world around you, allow it to actually speak to you for once, because all day, every day, we just, for some odd reason, shut it out. Listen to your soles hit the pavement, creating this beautiful rhythm, the birds chirping, leaves blowing in the breeze, ambient laughter. There is a life all around us. To not tap into that on a daily basis, especially in the inescapable, distracting routines we find ourselves in, is criminal. Prioritize an hour window, just 1 hour in the morning or evening when things are quieter, and move your body. Lifting weights in a dungeon of a gym, fluorescent lights beaming down at you and music blasting in your ears does not count. Movement is a meditation, a check-in with the universe. You're here, you're listening, you're aware, you're alive. I also highly recommend looping this in with a writing block every day, 5 minutes blocked off after this movement, because I guarantee you through this walk, this run, this meditative workout, that you'll have an unraveling of original ideas just popping like fireworks in your brain. If you don't lock these down, tattooing them on a journal, you run the risk of never turning them into art, and they just disappear and float into empty space. This is every single day from this point forward. This isn't a spark of inspiration thing to where you go and do it today and you feel so good and different and cool and unique and like, whoa, that really did feel actually really good, and that was awesome that I did that. And then tomorrow you're back to the normal routine of just doing whatever random things you're doing to where you're unhappy with where you're at. That was a fun little experiment, but back to normal me now. I'm gonna lay another quick tip here, and if you made it to this part of the video, congrats, because this will make or break everything. Hopefully you already know this, but all of this, every single thing that I have mentioned and will mention after this, is completely meaningless, useless, irrelevant to your life if it is not repeated. One day of discipline never made someone rich. One piece of cake never made someone fat. One day of running never made someone conditioned and ready to run a marathon. One W never won someone a championship. More on that in a bit. Movement every day is momentum. 4. Learn something. Now it is time to funnel all of this clarity, all of these great habits into learning, into actually doing something with your life and bettering it in a certain way. Your brain is now buzzing. It's back into this elementary school, open to everything, soaking in information state. Whether it's business, a musical instrument, a sport, a language, we are here to learn, to progress. And when you go through each day, lending time to another corporation, to mindless entertainment, to consumption, of course, you feel empty. You're not tapped into that purpose. Getting 0.01% better at something every day is the most beautiful thing you can possibly do. You will be mind blown at how alive you feel by simply strumming a guitar or speaking a few sentences in Spanish, hitting that tennis ball with slightly more precision, completing that 5K a bit faster. This newfound clarity is great, but it's still just a stagnant vehicle waiting for a destination. Inspiration waiting for a vessel. You have to build that bridge. That bridge is constructed by purpose. Just like researching and curating your library, the film you will watch, tap into the underbelly of your desires. There are things that will speak to you. Horseback riding, sailing, crocheting, filmmaking, how to build an online business, whatever it is, pick one thing and succumb to its apprenticeship. This will serve as a microcosm of your apprenticeship to life as a whole. Every morning you have purpose now. You have a process sitting there waiting for you to move the needle a bit further. 5, the 3 bullet point system. Once again, you built this huge hill to climb when it comes to journaling. And we know that journaling is one of the best things you can do. It's one of the best things you can repeat on a daily basis, and it really does improve your life astronomically. But even knowing that, even being aware of that, we tend to just not do it a lot because it means sitting down and getting in a quiet space and just forgetting about all the daily worries and just kind of slowing down and writing down our thoughts. Once again, like reading, a year goes by and you realize that you journaled 3 times. I'm going to teach you what allowed me to easily knock this out and make it a hygiene standard where I did it every single day without fail. 3 bullet points. That's it. You have 3 bullet points of one-liner revelations that you had from that day. I hop into Notion where I already have my daily pages structured and I set my intentions for the day. 10 words or less, no noise, just straight to the point. I write my bullet points, again, most of the time after movement because my brain is just quieted down and it's a lot easier to do. And what this does as well is siphon out the Dear Diary mess. Today I did this and this paragraph essay long journal thing that you're doing. I look back at my pages and forget just how revelatory these one-liners were. Like I go back to 6 months ago and see a very simple, clear list of 2 to 3, 4 bullet points where I wrote down how I felt or what hit me that day, what I really thought about. And I'm like, oh, that was actually crazy. Like that is still applicable now. I didn't have to go through this weird long archive of like diary essays. And a lot of these I expand on and I structure into videos like this one. It's all symmetrical. You're building ammo day by day, evidence archives where you can dig into those and construct a strategy of art distribution. Your life is your canvas. The lessons you learn, the perception of the world you continue to develop is your brand, your story to tell to the world. 6, the key. You'll find throughout this whole disappear from the world process that your internal radar, the gut feeling, the thing that steers every decision you make where you offer your time, starts to rewire itself. The things that you used to automatically do, scroll on your phone and consume content that you don't even enjoy, brain rotting, you're now appalled by. You can't think of anything worse to do. Dropping everything, hitting a run without any technology used to sound like a massive chore to your system. Now it sounds refreshing, easy to lace up and get under the sun. Your gut feeling is your being. It builds your social circle, your environment, your brand, your income, your present, your future. When you disappear, you simply rewire this decision-making system. You come back into the world a disciplined, inspired, and articulate human being. You say no to the things that were dragging you, halting momentum, and you say yes to the hard things because they're no longer hard. They are viewed for what they truly are, tools of improvement, positive things that benefit your life. If you take anything from this video, I need you to understand this and drill it into your head because it is the only thing that matters. This is the sole reason that 99% of the self-help advice that you get from podcasts or YouTube videos or whatever you watch and consume are completely lost in translation. It's not about obtaining the information. All of this stuff I'm telling you is cool and it's great for you and you're aware of it and it's good, whatever motivation, you feel good about listening to it. it doesn't do anything for you. It's just sitting here in a video. The only thing that matters, it is the gut feeling. It is that thing within you that actually makes the decisions that change your life. You will always, always, always succumb to the gut feeling. If you hear that reading every day is a great habit, but your gut feeling is still running on the old software designed by your consumer brain rot self, then as much as you are aware that it's good, you'll find yourself not doing it simply because that gut feeling is entirely turned off by the idea. It does not matter that you are aware that reading is good for you, that journaling is good for you, moving is good for you, that all the things I'm laying out here will benefit your life. It does not matter that you know that. A lot of people know that. Everyone watching this has probably seen a million videos that say the exact same thing. Those people that you idolize, that have this aura about them, this presence, they simply upgraded that gut feeling. They've instilled so much discipline that what seems like a tough, brutal routine to you is like brushing their teeth to them. It's like clockwork. Like they're this robot that just does these things like almost in a flow state. Like when you wake up and brush your teeth, you don't even know you're doing it. You're thinking about all these other things. It's just so easy to rinse and repeat. That's the root issue of all of the motivation, the advice. We all know that implementing these things in our lives would make them better. We know that. Everyone who smokes, drinks, eats fast food is very aware that what they are doing is not healthy for them. They understand that. The secrets are out. It's not an information game. It's an installation game. Who can groove this information in their subconscious, making a healthy lifestyle routine? Greatness requires this gut feeling. These things have to be as easy as hygiene standards, as brushing your teeth, as putting your contacts in, or else there'll be blips in an otherwise mundane year. They have to dominate your calendar. 7. Mood board. Now, to bring everything together, I've done a full video on this particular process if you'd like to get the full-blown breakdown. But mood boarding. What do you want your world to look like? What do you wish to create and put out into this world to make it look more like that vision? What you consume is what you create. What you create is what you consume, so consider alignment here. I like to mood board my life as well as my brand. This ongoing exercise takes me to the places I wish to go, and I create the content that I wish to create in those places that I go to. It's a symmetrical game that I'm playing. Romanticize the process. This isn't a lock yourself in a dungeon 3-month monk mode thing. It's a detox where the life you feel genuinely so stoked to live becomes so potent that you have to materialize it. On your walks, your runs, amidst these daily flow states, tap into the ether and listen to what it lays out for you. Map these, visualize them, put them on a board to where every day you just observe and your heart thumps at the thought of making this a reality. To conclude, I want to simplify this as much as possible for you. Look at these 90 days from a bird's eye view. Here's the cold, hard truth. If less than 80%, that's 72 of these days, are low vibration, you're a shell. You coast through. You're not learning something. You're not moving. You're not reading, journaling, anything. You just did not stick to any of the things that you were going to. Your circumstances after that window will remain the same. That's an objective fact. It will not change whatsoever. You'll be in the same position that you were when you entered this disappear from the world protocol. If you can cross off over 80%, over 72 of those days as dialed in, you stuck to the hygiene standards, you cemented those, you will be a different human being who is capable of materializing the things that you have always wanted. Take care, Landon.